Good morning. It is 10 past 6. I'm Hans Colburn, and this is Information Morning on CBC Radio 1. Well, we're going to dive in to hear some of the neat things about our own backyard. That's in just a couple of minutes. And we're also going to get back behind the wheel of our summer driving happy song. And we're going to do that a little earlier this morning at about 6:45. And Sarah Trainer has come in from the St. John newsroom and has a look at news for us. Hi, Sarah. All right, well, we got one more day before the weekend, so we'll check in one more time tomorrow, Kaylin.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Kaylin Mitchell is CBC's morning meteorologist here at 12 past 6 every weekday on CBC Radio 1, 91.3 FM. Well, it may not seem like a marshy area in our backyard has much in common with a canyon deep under the Atlantic Ocean off Sable Island, but they're both marine protected areas, and they're both pretty important parts of our ecosystem. You can learn all about them at the Fundy Discovery Aquarium tomorrow at the latest Lunch and Learn. Maxine Westhead will be there to talk about the Musquash estuary and the Gully. Maxine is the program manager for the Marine Protected Areas program at the Bedford Institute of Oceanography. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Hans.
So what makes these marine protected areas important?
Well, they are similar. It's interesting, you have a coastal area and an offshore area, like you mentioned, but they're very similar in that they both have very diverse habitats, right? So you have a deep, dark canyon and shallow, sloping sides at the top, and then Musquash has a very rocky outer shore, and as you move up in the estuary, it's very shallow and muddy with salt marshes. So they have a really diverse range of habitats, and what makes that special is that means they're very productive areas. So lots of different organisms are found there, fish species and plant and animal species. So yeah, and they're both officially designated marine protected areas under Canada's Oceans Act.
So what does that mean?
That means they are legally protected because they are sensitive or vulnerable or ecologically important or unique areas, and they're protected by regulations.
So with the Gully itself, how easy is it to do much exploration there because of its, I guess, lack of accessibility? Yeah,
it is incredibly difficult and quite expensive to get out there. Not many people get out there, but we do try to support science research out there as much as we can, and it happens a couple times a year, hopefully.
Have you been there yourself?
I have not been there, but my co-presenter, Hilary Moores, who will be with me at the Lunch and Learn tomorrow, she is a whale biologist that just finished her PhD on the area.
And what do you find fascinating about it?
I just find it fascinating. Well, the Gully in particular has got these weird and fantastic deep-sea creatures. Some of them glow in the dark, like the lanternfish, and others are just basically big mouths, like the gulper eel. So we'll actually be having some of those specimens with us at the aquarium.
Now, tell me again what's special about the Musquash estuary. You talked about, I guess, some of the ecology that is part of the estuary itself.
Yeah, Musquash is actually a relatively sensitive area. You know those, I'm sure everybody's seen it when they drive by on the highway. You can see it from Highway 1 if you look south. But you see those gently sloping but really muddy banks and salt marsh habitat. That is really sensitive to human disturbance.
And I understand there will be an event this weekend that is going to allow people, though, to explore the estuary.
That's right. It's really exciting, actually. The Conservation Council of New Brunswick, the St. John chapter, and the Fundy Baykeeper are organizing an annual Musquash paddle. I think it's over 10 years it's been going on. And we actually get to meander along the river with the tide, which is a nice treat. It's an optional 6 kilometers or 10 kilometers, and you get to see, hopefully weather permitting, the entire marine protected area.
Well, the weather is supposed to be very nice on Saturday. Yeah. So shouldn't be a problem there for sure.
Yeah, occasionally we get fog, so that's
well, that's true. Yeah. I guess that always has to be taken into account, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So you mentioned some of the species that you're going to bring with you to your presentation tomorrow. What else will people see?
We will also have some critters from Musquash, so some fish species. Obviously the fish are a lot smaller than they would be offshore. some fish species, and some shrimp type things, some crustaceans.
I think you're right. People are aware, at least kind of on a cursory level, of the Musquash estuary because we do drive by it, and there's a big sign there that says this is what it is. But why is it important, do you think, to talk about it and let people know what's there?
Well, I think, marine protected areas, I think, deserve a high level of public understanding. They're protected for a reason, and they're protected on behalf of all Canadians. So I think it's important that people learn about them. And in particular, like Musquash, it's accessible, and people get to experience it.
Maxine, thanks so much for telling us about them.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Maxine Westhead is the program manager for marine protected areas at the Bedford Institute of Oceanography. So she's going to be speaking at a lunch and learn at the Fundy Discovery Aquarium in St. Andrews tomorrow at noon. The lecture and lunch will cost you $12 plus tax, and as she said, she's going to bring you some weird and wonderful species to observe. It's coming up on 19 minutes now past 6 o'clock.